Show. That's right. Oh, the voice is a little scratchy from the last one I did. That's right. Welcome in, welcome back, folks, to Is Notre Dame truly committed to football excellence or not edition of the Always Irish Show. As always, you can find the program on YouTube. Do it, subscribe. I appreciate that very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps me as well. Notifications on. That way you're alerted every time bad news drops and you want to get the information right away. Come here. Twitter. Search bar, Always Irish Rat. Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Got a bunch of them today. Nobody's happy in Notre Dame land. Audio only, anywhere you want it, you can dial it up, baby. Colon 9. Speaking of dialing it up, 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. It hadn't been pretty, all that I've heard and seen the last day. I can tell you that. The Irish faithful are feeling a little out of sorts, a little stressed out. You've come to the right place. Fighting Irish Wire, that's the right place if you want to read about Notre Dame football. Also, don't you dare forget this Sunday, Forever Young Sports Card, Sam Hartman's first public NIL autograph signing, sponsored by who's it going to be? Oh, yeah, it's this guy. Come there. Talk out your Notre Dame stresses with me while you're waiting in the line. Just get it out. It's Notre Dame therapy. We'll talk it out. You'll meet Sam Hartman and say, we're going to make it all right. Come Navy, come Dublin, and make us feel better about this week, okay? So make sure you go to foreveryoungsportscards.com and get your tickets and learn other valuable information about the event. Can't wait to see everybody there. Big honor of me to be a part of it, okay? So I want to be very clear about something on the onset. First, I got two things here. First, I know I told you guys I was going to be gone, but you're not getting rid of me that soon. I'm recording this before I go to do what I'm going to do. So ultimate, not so fast, my friend. I'm thinking you got rid of me for a few days. Lee Corso style, not so fast. Vintage Lee, though, not the elder abuse version ESPN takes advantage of these days. The old school when he had his faculties. I feel too bad about it now. That's number one. Number two is, I want to be clear as we get into this talk. This episode is not a direct result of the Justin Scott situation. All right? Like there is a segment, nobody's happy right now with Notre Dame. But there is a segment of people that are always going to go, settle down, everything will be fine. Settle down, everything will be fine. And what I would say back to those people is, since 1988, it hasn't been fine. So there is no real evidence to tell Notre Dame people to just relax and things will be fine and we'll win stuff you care about. When your last title was when I was 4 years old, I'm not listening to you to tell me just to chill out. Everything will be okay. No, the evidence suggests otherwise. But this topic is not a direct result of one recruit's decision of where to go. Like, I'm a lunatic, but I'm not that unhinged. Give me a break. However, I do admit that with this idea rolling around in my mind, this situation and all the emotions and looking at the nightmare that is Notre Dame Twitter right now and getting a read of where the fan base is at, it's a great opportunity to bring this topic up. But I want to be clear and stop anybody going, oh, John, you're flying off the wall because of one recruit. Grow up. This isn't that. I could argue this is decades in the making, this episode. So here's how I'm going to start. I think with modern NIL, modern pay for play, the transfer portal, the new CFP TV deals that are going to make it the haves and the have-nots, all of that. I believe the gulf between the haves and the have-nots in college football is about to get more wide and spread apart not less. I think the days of being able to operate your football team, being kind of bought in, but not totally bought into being a leader, are just about over. If you want to win a title, you can't just do it halfway. And I just don't think you could take half measures anymore if you have those dreams. Now, you could get by pretty well being half in and half out of being dead serious about winning and go 10-2, go 11-1 sometimes, maybe win a game in the new playoff era as a lower seed, whatever. But I really do feel you're going to have real buy-in in this modern era if you think your team has a chance to win the championship in the modern era. And that's what brings me to my question of the night. Do you, Mr. and Mrs. Notre Dame fan, believe Notre Dame is truly serious about being nationally elite in football? Yes or no? If your answer is yes, cite your examples why in the comments. If your answer is no, cite your examples in the comments. Can't just say yes or no. You got to explain your position. I say the answer is clearly no. But Notre Dame would tell you otherwise every chance they get. And you know what else they'll do? They will charge you championship prices all day long, every season. Championship prices. Talk about championships are the goal. But I don't believe they're doing the things it takes to realistically make that happen. And it hurts me to say, you guys, I love Notre Dame more than anything, but the people I love in my real life. And I don't want to have to say these things, but the truth hurts. The reality is I was very hopeful that hiring Freeman was the start of a lot of new modern ways of thinking, ideas, modus operandi, all of that stuff. I was hopeful his hiring indicated an entry into a new era and modernity in a lot of different ways of the football team. And I was hoping that it meant that they got the big picture and they knew what it takes and they wanted an energetic young guy to run with it all. That has not happened. That has not happened. They hired Freeman, but all the ancillary changes that I wanted to go with it to set him up to succeed, I ain't seeing that stuff. So it's like, why do you say no, John? The simple answer is they do not do the things you have to do to compete at that level consistently. You may get lucky here or there, have a magical year in the playoff or whatever. I am not saying that's impossible. But year in, year out, over the next 5 years, 10 years, whatever, they are not doing the things it's going to take to consistently position yourself in an elite way. And it's like, do I really have to give examples? Are there really Notre Dame fans that watch this show that can't come up with examples of what I mean? How about outdated facilities where the actual staff can't even all be in the same building and work? How about grades for undergrad recruits? How about it's almost impossible for an undergraduate football player to transfer in and get a Notre Dame degree and play here? How about Notre Dame kind of wanting to sort of do NIL, but make it a secret that nobody can hear about because it's below them to let people know their guys are making money? How about your young coach found an offensive coordinator and some assistants he really wanted, and the administration said, no, it costs too much? Do I have to keep going, or is that enough to give you my examples of why I say no? Here's something else I got a beef with Notre Dame fans on, and I thought a lot of you would be smarter than this. Too many Notre Dame fans are quick to believe the stuff that comes out of Notre Dame. Freeman's mouth, Jack's mouth, whatever over there. It's amazing to you. Were you all born yesterday? All these places do PR and spin and everything. You think just because Jack says we want to win a championship, we're committed to that goal? That doesn't mean anything. That's PR 101 to keep money coming in. Don't be so naive. Look at the actions, not the words. Look at what people do, not what they tell you. Okay? So, I just rattled off 5 things that are like relevant right this second that show me actions that say they're not that serious about being elite. Now, I want to be very clear about this. If Notre Dame doesn't want to do all it takes to be elite and they want to become more of an academic research religious institution only, fine. I have no problem with that. But you got to quit lying to your fan base then. Like, if that's what you're going to do, you're not allowed to lie to us at the same time. If you're not going to invest in all these things that the teams that are going to win championships are doing, and you're not going to embrace them and get modern and be in the game and be competitive with that, fine. Join the Ivy League. Tell everybody we're just here for academics and that's our priority. And the football thing was great 100 years ago, but we moved on. That's the issue. If you don't want to be in that game, don't be in that game, but don't lie to your fan base and get up there and say, our goal is always a championship and that's the standard and whatever, but you're not physically doing the things it's going to take to get there. That is disingenuous. I'll say this. It's disingenuous on the low end. And if I want to be very charitable on the high end, it's almost more offensive. It means you're totally disconnected from what's going on everywhere else. And they may actually be dumb enough to think you can do it this way. That would actually maybe insult me more than the disingenuous part. If they really think the way they're doing it's going to get you over the hump. That just shows that they're totally out of touch with the modern realities of the competitive landscape. So that's the deal. If you have no interest in doing these things, fine. Join the Ivy League. Tell everybody we're an academic institution. You could do that. But I take it personally as somebody who lives and dies with every Notre Dame game, every season, my whole life, with all of you people that do the same thing, to be lied to and led along and flirted with, and they're getting more money out of you and the prices go up for everything. A t-shirt, season tickets, anything in between. They talk titles. They charge championship prices. Are they willing to do what it takes to make that a reality? Admit you're out of that game or get serious. Those are your only damn options. If you keep trying to live in the middle, eventually smart, non-sheep Notre Dame fans are going to stop renewing those family lineage season ticket packages. Those donation checks out of dad's will are going to stop showing up. Not for everybody. There will always be a segment that'll go back there because the football, it's just a part of the picnic of the day. Swing by the stadium, see what's going on. But for those that actually care about football supremacy, they're going to stop renewing their tickets, stop buying stuff. That's how it may have to get. And, the other thing is, don't give me this because I'm not listening to it. Don't come at me with this, oh, well, John, we're just going to have to RKG it up, right? Kind of guys, and get some lower level guys and then coach them up and win it that way. Isn't that cute? That's so funny when people say that. Well, that's what we're going to do. Yeah, we're going to load it up with not the best athletes, and we're just going to coach them up. We're going to win it that way, right? That is completely illogical. No one says that about college football unless you're coping so hard because your team's not where you know they need to be. The reality is, people say that you're just going to have to get what you can get, not 5 stars, but build them up. People say that as if the teams getting the 5 stars all over the field, 9 of them in the last class for one team, for instance, Alabama last year. People saying you just got to get what you can get and then coach them up. They say this as if the teams with all the 5 stars also aren't coaching their guys up. More talented ones, bigger, faster, stronger ones. You are not the only ones developing talent once it's on campus. Who's going to end up ahead then in the long run? The people developing the 4 and 5 stars or the people developing the 3 stars? It's not hard to figure it out. It's not hard to figure it out. It's just so funny to me. Oh, you're just going to have to coach them up. All the teams getting all the top talent are coaching their guys up too. And they started ahead of you. Oh, that's such an illogical thing. And no one ever says it unless it's desperation cope time, right? It's cope for hope. That's what it is. So where do we go now if you're Notre Dame and you're in this environment that I feel like it's getting to be, you're going to have to pick a path here eventually. Where do you go now? Here's one thing you could hope for and pray for, light a candle at the grotto for. Maybe you got to pray Pistol Pete, the next athletic director, is a lot more modern than Jack is. And maybe he is willing to be and can be more of an advocate than Jack was to get Freeman what he needs to open things up and actually get serious here. Like, I don't know what you think the odds of that being reality is, and I don't know if the administrative group, the AD has to answer to, is open to that. I don't know. But, that's one thing I guess you could hope for, is that maybe Bavacqua and Freeman have a different relationship than Jack and Freeman, and Pete has a way to be able to maybe get some newer ideas into that administrative meeting room. I don't know. I mean, I'm grasping at straws. It's an idea. It's at least a ray of hope. I guess the story goes that Freeman found out Bavacqua was going to be the next AD when all those guys were at the Kentucky Derby. And I hope Freeman pulled them aside and said, let's walk and talk, buddy. Drink a mint julep and put his arm around him and go, are you going to let me do what I need to do to win here or not? Because I'm not going to be a sacrificial lamb. You don't hire an up-and-coming, young, energetic guy like this and then not modernize the other things you need to win. That's a bad freaking plan. So listen, Notre Dame could probably keep doing what they've been doing and go 10-2 a lot of years and make the playoff. But you know what's going to happen after that. We saw it in the Kelly years. Even when we went undefeated, we were not able to compete in the playoff. That's a problem. But we could probably keep doing what we're doing and go 10-2, 11-1 on a great year, 9-3, whatever. Make the playoff a lot of times. Nobody was happy with that being the ceiling with the last guy when he did it. Everybody was looking for more, including the last coach. Kelly was looking for more. We wanted more. Nobody was happy with that after 10, 11 years. This is supposed to be a different time, a different era with different outcomes. But you got to do everything you can to make that possible. Now, I'm not going to say Freeman's done everything perfect and that he is totally absolved of everything. I don't know exactly where he falls in any of the issues we're talking about or not. Maybe there's not a thing he could do better with any of it. Maybe he's still learning and has made mistakes we don't even see behind the scenes with recruiting or whatever else. I don't know all that. But I do know that of all the major schools that consider themselves major elite football powers, by far, no administration makes it harder on the football coach to succeed than this one. That is without question. Notre Dame has more governors on themselves than any other major football team there is. Whether you love or hate Freeman, that has to be acknowledged. That is factual. Okay? So I don't know where this leaves us, you guys. I think you either need to get serious about this and do what it takes, or quit lying about it, because it's really getting irritating to hear we want to win a championship and then the pricing goes up, championship prices, but I don't see all the other things I think you need to do to make that a reality happening. So tell me if I'm right. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm being over dramatic again, whatever. Like, listen, I don't like having to have this conversation. I really don't. But I just think eventually Notre Dame's going to have to really pick a path. They're right in the middle, kind of academic-y, Ivy League in a lot of ways, trying to be competitive in football. You're going to have to pick a path eventually, because this fan base should be, enough of them should be smart enough to not just blindly keep paying the increased prices and everything else and get lied to, and then every year give more money. Like, that is the sheepiest herd I've ever heard of. So get serious or quit lying to yourself and everybody else. Those are your options. Get it together.